Okay, folks, I'm going to try really hard to make sense of this next one, but Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. I know he doesn't want to admit it. I know he still has his diehards who will never admit it. They'll never accept reality. But he lost the 2020 election, and he did so because he was not a popular president. People didn't like the way he handled things, especially the way he handled the pandemic. And so he got voted out. 81 million people sent him packing. Now, here he is coming back for a rematch. You would think anyone coming back for another shot at something would want to assure everyone that the next go around wouldn't be the same as the first, right? I mean, if it was anyone else, I always say this, if it was anyone else, if you got fired from your job because you couldn't do your job and because you didn't perform up to par, and you went back and put in a second application and applied to be rehired, when you came in and sat down to talk to the boss, you would have to assure him that what you did in the past was never going to happen again. And you would have to convince him that you would be a good asset or you would be worth giving a second chance to. That's what would happen in the real world. For the rest of us, that's what we would have to do. But in Donald Trump's world, he's doubling down on all of it. He's absolutely going out there and on every bit of it, he's doubling down and reminding us of just why we voted him out to start with. So here he is. He's traveling around now with a vile, disgusting, racist conspiracy theorist. Will he distance himself from Laura Loomer? No. He'll just double down and act like he doesn't know what's going on, and it's an insult to all of our intelligence, but roll the clip.
Republican colleagues or your allies who are concerned about your close relationship with Laura Loomer?
Well, I don't know what they would say. Laura's been a supporter of mine, just like a lot of people are supporters, and she's been a supporter of mine. She speaks very positively of the campaign. I'm not sure why you asked that question, but Laura is a supporter. I don't control Laura. Laura has to say what she wants. She's a free spirit. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, I can't tell Laura what to do. Laura's a supporter. I have a lot of supporters, but I don't know what exactly you're referring to. That's okay. Yeah, please. I just don't know. Laura's a supporter. I don't know. She is a strong person. She's got strong opinions, and I don't know what she said, but that's not up to me. She's a supporter. Please.
Traveling with you on your plane.
Okay, a lot of people do. It's a very big plane.
With you. She made racist remarks about your opponent. She also espoused conspiracy theories about 9/11. Do you disavow those remarks?
Well, to see what the remarks are. You're telling me for the first time we're here discussing the destruction of San Francisco and California by a person that's running for president. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I do know that she may have said something based on what you're telling me, but I don't know what she said. But I'll go take a look and I'll put out a statement later on. But I really don't know. Please.
Trust me, he knows everything that Laura Loomer has put out there into the world. It's just that he doesn't care because, like you said, she speaks very highly of our campaign. So he doesn't care what she says. None of the things that she says is a deal breaker. Again, you would think that he would want to appeal to moderates and independents and want to convince us that he should have another shot at this. But we see him traveling around with a person like this, and then we see him sitting there in denial, and he thinks that we're dumb enough to believe that he doesn't know what she's saying. Trust me, if Laura Loomer ever said anything slightly against Donald Trump, he would pick up on it immediately, and he would be calling her Loony Laura. You know he would. And that's the kind of person that he truly is, and we're not going to ever forget that, and we're never going to go back. But I'm going to keep rolling and showing you here just how much that Trump is doubling down on all this. His ridiculous, they're eating the dogs in Springfield, Ohio, has had bomb threats being given to people. Everything is getting completely out of hand, and it's putting a lot of people in danger. And will he denounce it? No. Take a look.
Mayor of Springfield, Ohio, the police chief, the Republican governor of Ohio have all debunked this story about people eating pets. And now there are bomb threats at schools and kids being evacuated. Why do you still spread this false story?
The real threat is what's happening at our border, because you have thousands of people being killed by illegal migrants coming in and also dying.
So yeah, the governor, the mayor, everyone has said there's no credible evidence to back up the claims that Trump's making. But what does he do? No. The real threat's at the border. He will not denounce these threats that's taking place now in Springfield, Ohio. You think anyone in their right mind would say, hey, folks, don't do that, but you'll never hear him say it. And just to make sure that I'm making my point here, I'm going to show you one other instance where he just will not denounce it. Roll the clip.
Do you denounce the bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio?
I don't know what happened with the bomb threats. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened. Springfield was this beautiful town, and now they're going through hell. It's a sad thing. Not going to happen with me, I can tell you right now.
Again, he just tries to play this argument that he knows nothing about it, but he will not say, hey, listen, to my followers out there, do not be threatening anyone in Springfield, Ohio. That does not represent our movement. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. I'll get reelected. I'll fix the problem. He doesn't say any of that. Any reasonable person applying for a job again, applying for a second shot, would distance themselves from this, but he won't. He just digs in and continues to play these same tired hits. And one of the most offensive things that he did as president was if a governor out there disagreed with him, he would say that he would cut off any federal aid. He would not help them. In other words, he would sit back and he would watch California burn to the ground, all because Gavin Newsom won't kiss his ass. Roll the clip.
Everything is dead. The automobile industry is dead. The water coming here is dead. And Gavin Newsom is going to sign those papers. And if he doesn't sign those papers, we won't give him money to put out all his fires. And if we don't give him the money to put out his fires, he's got problems. He's a lousy governor.
So, folks, before we keep rolling with this video, I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified whenever I put out new content and you won't miss it. And also, if you get a chance, go over and check out our Patreon. I've got it tagged in the link to this video. We've got some new tiers there now, and you guys can join in on that. We're going to be pumping a lot more content on there, exclusive only. And if you guys are interested, be sure to check that link in the description. But here he is coming up with nicknames for Gavin Newsom. Now he's Gavin Newsom. Why does this crap appeal to people? And why would you want to live in a world where a president, because he disagrees with a governor, would cut off aid and let innocent people's homes and businesses burn to the ground? They're the very people that sits back and says, oh, they let Minnesota burn. Oh, they always love to take that approach. But when Trump says out loud, I will sit back and I will let it burn because I don't agree with that guy, they're all for it. And do they not realize that there are Republicans and Trump supporters in California? Do they not realize that there's people in that part of the world that are for Trump too? And does Trump supporters in California? I mean, okay, imagine you're a Trump supporter in California and you're sitting there and you're hearing him say that and you're like, oh shit. Well, if a fire breaks out, he's not going to help us because he doesn't like our governor. It's so petty, it's so childish, and it's so dangerous, and it's just so over the top disgusting. But you know what? I say just let Trump keep doing all this. I'm not going to try to rein him in. I don't think any of us should. If I ever got to meet the guy, I would probably just be like, hey, buddy, you're doing a great job. You just keep on going. Give Laura the microphone more often. Let her speak. Just let them all talk. Invite all of them there and just let them all have the microphone. And you all just do your ridiculous dance. Just go for it, pal. Just make every off-the-wall claim you want to. And oh, and by the way, whatever you do, Donnie, don't try to appeal to the Republicans that are fleeing your ship, your sinking ship. Don't try to appeal to them. Here he is asked, what would you do to try to bring any of them back? And just like any cult leader, if you leave the cult, he's done with you. Roll the clip.
If there was a Republican for Harris here in the room with us, what would you tell that person in terms of persuading them to vote for you as opposed to vote for Harris?
I probably wouldn't tell them anything because usually it would be maybe a personality problem. Maybe they don't like the way I was tough on China. You know, a lot of them don't want me to be tough on China. A lot of them don't want me to be tough on anybody because they're taken care of by people. You saw that. You saw that with Biden. He gets money from so many, his family gets money from so many different countries. And a lot of it's that, but for everyone they have, I have many. I have so many that have left the Democrats and they've come here. I mean, the governor of West Virginia, fantastic man, and Big Jim, I call him, he left the Democrats and he became a Republican, and now he's going to win the election. He's going to win very easily. So we have a lot of them, too.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, he wouldn't say anything to him. He wouldn't say a word because they're all taking money from China. They're all taking all these business deals. Meanwhile, Jared Kushner got $2 billion from the Saudis. You'll never hear him say a word about that. It's perfectly okay. As a matter of fact, he sat back and bragged and talked about all the money he got from China, but he has nothing to say to people leaving his sinking ship. Not a word, except he just doubles down and pushes them further and further away, and they're going to be sitting back on November 6th going, what the hell happened? How did we lose this? You lost this because your guy could not adapt to change. And you're going to lose because this guy is a disgusting, despicable human being who is going out there and going out of his way every day to remind us of just how vile he truly is. This guy would sit back and watch a state burn to the ground. This guy will not denounce people threatening violence. He didn't on January 6th. What makes you think he's going to do it now in Springfield? He's not. And if they try to stand up and do something again, he won't call it down. He won't say enough is enough, because a narcissist's last descent is into madness. And that's where he's headed. He's going down. He realizes it. And instead of trying to come up with anything different, he just doubles down. I would respect him a lot more. Actually, there's no way I would ever respect the guy. But you could at least say, you know what? He's trying to change. He's not acting like he did before. I mean, if he was doing that, you could at least say that about him. But he won't even do that. You're going to have to bear with me, folks. My allergies have absolutely been killing me here in East Tennessee. They're cutting hay around me, and it's really taking its toll on me. But don't worry, I'm not going to quit calling out Donald Trump. If I lose my voice, I will type it, and Midas Touch will just print it. Okay, so don't worry. I'm not going to back down, because our democracy is too important, and we have to stay focused. And I'm glad that Donald Trump every day is reminding us of who he was and who he is, and I'm glad that he's doubling down. Just go ahead. Show us for who you are. And to his supporters, the trolls out there who are still latched onto this dude's boots, keep showing us who you are. That's the one thing that I will say Donald Trump did that I'm actually glad he went ahead and did. He exposed everyone that I know I don't want to ever be around or be associated with it anyway. Because all of the stuff that I've shown them over the years has never been a deal breaker. And they've sat back and tried to gaslight us and insult our intelligence and tell us that we didn't really see what we think we saw, or we didn't really hear what we thought we heard. But we know what we saw, we know what we heard, and folks, we're never going back. So Trump is showing us who he is. The diehards are still hanging on. They're reminding us of who they are. And we're going to remind them that we're the majority come November 5th.